Yeah. Well, hopefully it's working here. I don't know. Okay, so there is somebody here. Okay, I wasn't even sure if it was live streaming or not. So now we're in Idaho, Idaho. How's it going? Man, I was so tired last night. When you drive 7 hours and something, your brain turns into mush, really. And my eyes started like, I don't know, they were so heavy. I fell asleep in like 2 seconds after that. After the live stream, that only lasted like 20 minutes. Yeah, we're making our way. We're on the third leg. You have to do like 700, 700, 700. Got 146 today, so. Yeah, my friend Beth got a hold of me. I guess the Murder Sheet did a podcast on one of the three, I think his name is Click, last name of Click. One of those three guys that the 85-page report that was supposedly, all about how Odin is part of it, and Odinist is part of it and all that crap. And he came out and said, yeah, we didn't, none of us thought that they were actually part of it. And as a matter of fact, the defense team is being sensationalistic. It's almost as if they're watching my show. It's amazing, right? It's it's going to turn out where the Odinist crap has absolutely nothing to do with anything, except people want it to be that. And like I said on my show, as the Murder Sheet repeated, was that they obviously had a group of 3 individuals looking into the possible cult angle and had an 85-page report. So if there was something really interesting in there, they would have done something with it, right? That's not true, Gray. What if there was Odinists inside the police force and they wanted to keep it quiet? You know how they planted 2 Odinist guards at the guards where Richard Allen is staying? They had the patches on and everything. How much you want to bet there was no patches? I will bet you money that no guard was allowed to wear a cult patch at a jail. That doesn't make any sense. Ding, 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 ding. And the thing is, it's already been, like Brad Holder has nothing to do with anything. You might not like his Facebook posts and all that crap, but he isn't part of the Delphi murder case, okay? Other than people wanting him to be. The person who is involved is Richard Allen. Amazingly. Placing himself at the bridge in 2 separate interviews, one in 2017 and also in 2022, October 13th, where he described his clothing as being exactly the clothing that the person on the bridge is wearing. Which is strange that he would do it that time, because by then everybody knew that the image of the guy on the bridge, the guy on the bridge was actually the killer. He's actually the killer of Abby and Libby. He's the guy that said down the hill, or at the very least involved. How do you know, Gray? Maybe he just passed them off to somebody he thought was... Okay, yeah, whatever. Regardless, he abducted them, and it was a now they died as a result of them being abducted by him, and that's felony murder. That's why they don't have it. That's why they're using that particular charge here, because the only thing that they can really prove at this point is that it is him saying, guys, and then later it says, down the hill. So there's actually talking in between guys and down the hill by the girls. All right? I know it's hard to believe. Hard to believe, everybody, but we've been saying that since the beginning. Yeah. So anyways, you should go check it out. He just kind of put out a statement, Click did, because he's trying to observe the gag order, something that the defense team didn't do. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be just an absolutely obliterating rebuttal, and the judge is going to admonish and perhaps even fine the defense team for what they've done. I don't know if that's something you can do, but what a joke. And look at all the people out there that are like, ooh, Odinist, oh, wow, this is so amazing, ooh, it's incredible, everybody. Oh, wow, look at this guy's Facebook page now, ooh. Yeah, well, we looked at all that stuff early on. It's gone. It doesn't mean anything. And by the way, everybody, I know this is just a random show, but if you'd like to help support the channel, kind of had a struggling week here. Kind of makes me nervous of ever going on a road trip ever again, but at the same time, it's fun doing that. Those people are embarrassment. Well, I mean, I can understand people like just hearing it for the first time and thinking it's so interesting, it's so wow, how could this have happened? Trusting that the defense is putting out something reasonable. Okay, but I could tell, didn't I tell you the second I was reading it, just a joke the writing style was, the like childishness of it all, and here we go. Thanks, Danielle. So today's the last day of CrimeCon. I think if it's, since it's in Tennessee next year, I'll definitely go to that one. I think it was in Tennessee one other year too. And I will be flying. Now that I've got sort of more of a lighter sort of way to do this, basically you just have to bring like 3 sets of different clothing. Maybe your laptop and your cell phone, something like that, and then maybe just some swag that's kind of small. Yep, happy Sunday. You guys, it's sort of fun just watching the vehicles and everything. Here we are, we're driving off the edge of the earth, everybody. There's nothing here, there's nothing here. Oh my God, the earth is flat, it really is flat. We're going right to the edge of the earth and, oh, I guess it's not. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah, I like the sort of the setup. You know, you kind of have to practice. I've got a GoPro mounted on the dashboard. You can see it at the base of the video you're watching. Then I've got the mic from the GoPro hanging from the visor. The camera now has a Bluetooth. My phone has a Bluetooth audio. You put it in. It's amazing. You know the USB-C that cell phone Androids have, sort of the bigger. We plug this little audio Bluetooth into there, and then it connects to a lapel Bluetooth. But then it also has a USB-C that you plug into it, and it charges your phone at the same time. So you could have like an external source to charge the phone through that, and actually be walking around for hours. You could have like your cell phone on something. Man, where's that day crew? The day crew just disappeared. Let's see. Yeah, anyways, like I said, the murder sheet got a sort of a mini rebuttal from one of the 3 investigators that the memorandum said, "We're convinced that it was Odinites." And it's funny, they actually said the same thing I did when I was looking at the document, how the FBI said this murder was done by a ritualistic cult of Nordic, origin. And I was saying, they don't talk like that. How would they know for certain that something was done, And that's right what they said too, so. Thank you, Kubi. Last place we stopped, it was $5.99 a gallon for gas because we had to pull off at this place. And then I didn't even notice what they put on there. It was crazy. I think I'm on the right one. Well, you've got to see a lot of the drive anyways. So what do you guys thinking now? Now we took this ramp and she had to use the restroom, and the restroom wasn't open, so we had to create sort of a makeshift toilet on the side there. And I thought, well, I'll get a couple gallons. And while I was pumping, I went, wait, 5 something? Yeah. Yeah, excited to see the dogs, for sure. I want to see how they react. Chloe's going to run right up to Chris and forget me. That's what's going to happen. What? What's that? I can't even read what that person wrote. Or is that Jenny? What is that? I don't even know what that says. Looks like you, I don't even know what this means right here. What does that say? Can't read it. It's still only, well, now it's 80. There we go. That was like me on getting the 80s. That's good. Yeah. So Delphi is a really like, yeah, it's like the classic Mayberry sort of small town. You had all these old buildings and houses and stuff in the middle there. And yeah, I mean, at one point it was probably this really amazingly peaceful, probably still is. I think Delphi is pretty much back to how it was, except now everybody locks their doors. You know, and it's known for, you know, the place where Abby and Libby, you know, the murder of Abby and Libby now. Before it was just kind of like nobody even really heard of it, really, to be honest with you. I did, Gray, I've been there. Okay, good for you, good for you. But it's a really small town, and hey, thank you, your gypsy. Yeah, let's see. But you'll kind of wonder how long, if ever, that town will, you know, be thought of for something else, you know. And I don't know if it really can be. But I think you can get back to normal again. Which I think they pretty much are, you know. You see people walking around doing their own thing, you know. It's more like people like us, the true crime people that come in and they're curious and want to go to these places. And the rest of them probably just, yeah. Seen it, done it, yeah. Let's see. I mean, it's weird. To me, when I went there, I wasn't lost at all, other than like maybe exactly how to get to the, but I already typed it in and was able to find the spot, you know, the CPS building on my own. But having covered this case for so long with the maps and the videos that other people have taken, and when I get out there, it's not even weird. Hey, thanks, Hamster. Can you read that at all? Oh man, I can't see. I don't know what. I can't see anything. Is it still playing? Oh, there it is. That yellow one there. Yeah. I know, you need to hurry up. It only stays on the screen for a limited amount of time. I can't read that much. All right, I see it. Read this right here. So there's a... That's too hard. It's too much text and stuff going on the screen, but lying to the judge. Yeah. Well, I think the defense should get in trouble. That's what I think. And it's pretty cool. I met with my wife, Becky, and Beth. We all went out one night to had some drinks. Beth is exactly how I picture. I bet you Zozo would be exactly the same as she's pictured. You know, how you picture her, you know. But anyways, Beth was like, she took a picture of her choking me. That was pretty funny. Hey, thanks, Tamster. Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually, out here. Just staying on 84, speed limit shifted down to 70 here. Gonna go a little slower. Yeah, we should just see how long that we can go live, keep this live until it turns off, I guess, right? Yeah, you know what's great? Listening to the book, Evil Has a Name. I think Paul Hull's book. You know, a lot of the stuff was exactly what I explained. It was amazing just listening about how DNA and how they worked through that. But man, all of the different suspects that they had over the years, and when you listen to the stuff about the suspects, you think, wow, how could that person not be the person? So then it does make you wonder sometimes. But one of the things that Paul Hull's did, okay, so one of the cases, I thought, man, that was kind of, you know, a little weird, because there was this other, like, building contractor. And the reason they were sort of interested in building contractors was because of that, I don't know if when we were covering this case a long time ago, there's this little map that they had of some buildings and things, like a planner might do or something. And so, anyways, he had this one suspect and then another one where apparently one of his girlfriends or something said he had a really small, you know, private part, right? Like it was really small. So then he was like, oh man, this is really, you know, because that's the Golden State Killer, a lot of the, or, you know, D'Angelo, whatever his name is, a lot of his victims said he had a small unit. Yeah. And so he's looking at this guy going on and on and on, and it turns out he talked to one of the guy's friends and said, was there any locker room talk about, did he have the small, you know? And the guy goes, no. And he goes, man, okay, I still got, well, and then he made excuses like, well, some of the victims didn't say that and everything, so maybe it still could be his person. But here's the thing, your only reason that you thought he was a suspect is because he has a small unit, all right? Not any other thing. So once that was disproven, you should have just went, okay, I'm off of that guy. Not, let's try to make him fit. He admits to doing that, that on other things, he would try to make people fit into the box that he wanted to. Yeah. But it was kind of weird, like, he just kept going after this guy, even though the thing that made him think it was him at all was that. Other than that, the guy was totally normal. You know what I noticed? Like, there's no 7-Elevens other than, I thought 7-Elevens were nationwide. But there's no 7-Elevens, and I couldn't find one on the trip. Other than over sort of here in the West Coast, like Utah, Idaho, Oregon. What's going on with that, you guys? Well, nobody's talking, so maybe we'll just end the stream. Yeah, maybe it's just like New Jersey, though, is like a sister state to Oregon. You know, where you pump your own gas and everything. Like, we don't pump our own. We just ended pumping your own gas. You can still get it, but you can do it yourself if you want to. I mean, we just ended not being able to pump your own gas. We've always had somebody else came out to your car and put gas in it every single time. So now you have an option. You can have somebody pump it, or you can, well, I guess in some gas stations you pull up and self-serve, and then the other stalls are for somebody to pump it in for you. Yep. I definitely miss just sitting there doing our shows, though. It doesn't seem the same. Signed what? What are you talking about? Yeah, everybody pumps their own gas, other than New Jersey and Oregon. That was it. And we finally, then we finally got rid of having somebody else pump the gas. Stupid. Why can't you do your own gas? It takes 2 seconds. Then you have to wait for somebody to get done pumping the other vehicles, and then running over and, trying to hear your pump stopping and going, oh, okay, and then you just do it. It's way better doing it yourself. Well, it's 9:51 where we are currently. That means it's 8:51 in Portland. Yeah, like you pull up to a stall, the guy runs over, what do you want? Ding, ding, put something in, and then he runs over to the other guy, then over to the other guy, and then yours is done, and you wait like sometimes a minute or so while he's over there waiting to get to back to you to finish you off. It's just stupid. How small the cars look in front. That's because yeah, it's pretty easy just to grab that little thing and clean your windshields off too. Like mine's dirty right now because of the bugs. Man, we drove through some towns that just smell so bad. I don't know how a soul could live there. Every day waking up to that. Yeah. Hideous. Has it been pretty clear on the screen for you guys, or a little bit pixelated, or? I think when I was doing the 360-degree video in the courthouse, Robert Eyes is discussing things, so that might be sort of interesting. He's talking about the courthouse, and And it's right out of the movies, that courthouse. Old wood, and, kind of spiraling up to the top. We'd have to get some gas here in a minute. So it's not clear for you? Okay. Thanks, Tamster. I appreciate your support. For the price we pay for gas. Our vehicle, something. Yeah, right. Why would you have to wait? Yeah, I mean, the only people that pump your gas ever were in Oregon and New Jersey. Finally got rid of that one. Looks like we might be getting into a weather system coming up. Kind of looks a little, trying to clean the windshield a little bit. But in the background, it looks kind of misty, foggy, and it looks far away that the mountain range is sort of hazy, which sometimes means rain. That, man, I tell you what, that drive through Wyoming, I got like 20 miles to the gallon because we're driving directly into 40-mile-an-hour winds the whole time. It was like this 40 to 50-mile-an-hour gust straight into our face, and it's incredible how much that affects your miles per gallon. Although it makes complete sense. Your car is having to work harder to maintain a speed. Yeah, full service pumps in Ohio. Yeah. Well, anyways, I mean, I could sit there and ramble on for hours about the case, but it's hard to, I can't read any comments. Not sure if you guys are even having fun. Can't tell. I've got 189 miles so far today. Got another 536 to go. No, I won't be at home in a couple hours. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's funny how people are trying to make it sound like, wow, Richard Allen was just this regular dude. How could he have done this? It's got to be these Odinist people. It's almost as if they have no education on any other killers out there. You know, the Green River Killer, you know, and also Dennis Rader, or so it was Ridgway, Rader, hell, even Bundy. They just seem like regular Joes, you know, like who knew? Who knows what Richard Allen was doing? What we do know is that Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge. The one thing that's weird to me is that, like I said, the Sue, her, you know, we don't even know if that's true. The whole, her being adamant, oh my God, you know, coming, it's not him, and there's a curly hair guy, we got to go with the younger sketch. You know, sort of, it does, in some ways, sort of seem real because of the fact that the 2019 sketch was released. And that's the one that she described, and it was given early, 2 days after the murders. But here's the thing, her description doesn't match Richard Allen's description or the guy on the bridge. So Richard Allen looks exactly like the guy on the bridge, and Richard Allen himself said he was wearing the same exact clothing that the guy on the bridge was wearing. So then the person that Sue saw, who is that? Because Richard Allen was on the bridge almost within 8 or 10 minutes after that guy was there. I just think it might be her misremembering who she saw, because she said he was wearing a blue jacket and blue jeans, you know, the same crap, right? So it just kind of makes you wonder if she just doesn't remember exactly what she was looking at. Even though it was 2 days later, she probably walked to the bridge, turned around, and her memory just isn't that great. Because all it is now there's a gap. So let's say you remove her. Take out Sue from the equation. It still works, right? Richard Allen told the conservation officer he got there at 1:30. There's a car looking like his that drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store at 1:27, which matches right when he said he got there. And he himself said he parked at an abandoned building, which turns out to be the abandoned CPS building, or an old building, and it's right there. It's the abandoned CPS building. And then he walks to the, from there he goes to the Freedom Bridge, and shortly after that, he passes these 3 girls that were at the Mononhai Bridge at 12:47, and saw nobody else as they walked towards the Freedom Bridge. And as soon as they're near the Freedom Bridge, they pass this guy wearing a blue jacket or, you know, dark clothing. And they said they saw this individual. And then Richard Allen also says he saw those same 3 girls. There aren't another set of 3 girls because they haven't come forward and said anything. Of course they would have. Right? Like, oh my God, we were there too. All, you know, you can't say that a whole set of 3, not one of them would have wanted to come forward to say that they were there. Forget it, okay? So it's the same set of 3 girls. And that's going to be at like 1:34 because he parked, got out, walked. And then it takes about 8 or 9 minutes to walk down there. So that would put him at the bridge at 1:43. Where's that music coming from? I hear push it. Oh, it's on over here. Oh, yeah. All right. I just love that song, man. Anyways, so he gets on that trail 134, and then 142 gets down to, let's just say, around that time. He's near the start of the bridge. So it's 142, and he said that he was standing on platform 1. So that would be, well, let's say that's 142, and then, so you just take Sue out of it, and then the girls get there at about 1:57 or so, That's 15 minutes later. And they're on the bridge. And at 2:13, the same individual that the three girls saw is walking towards the girls at the end of the bridge and says, guys, down there. And apparently one of the girls said, hey, is that creepy guy that they must have passed on the trail? Because my opinion is when he saw the girls coming, he walked past them on the actual trail and waited for them to get and see where they went. And when they went on the bridge, that's when he finally made his move to go out there. All right, so hey, if there's anybody out there, if you'd like to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel with super chats or whatever the hell you want to do, that would be awesome. We got end of the month is coming up here, and I'm trying to keep a hold of, I'd like to be able to try to give away at least maybe $3,500, $4,000, a little bit less than we've been doing, but this trip has really been I don't know if you call it a disaster, but really dropped off the income coming into the channel from the nightly shows that we normally do. Okay, so a little bit frustrating to think that I won't be able to. It's hard to go on these trips because of that. I was hoping it would kind of remain the same. I've tried to do the night shows and whatnot, but man, last night I was about ready to pass out, and the nights before. So, and that's how this channel works, because there is no ad revenue on these live streams, right? So when we do the live streams in the night, all that stuff, the only source of income really is from the super chats, and then when I put out videos, that's when you get there's ad revenue on a video if they deem it to be okay. Thanks, Paulette Leonard. Yeah. So if you're out there and you can afford it and you want to help out the channel, that'd be great. I know this isn't sensationalistic where it makes people go, ooh, yeah, I want to, but it just is what it is. Yeah, this looks like something my parents, my biological father would paint some of these areas on. Yeah, so I don't even think you need Sue, except Sue's good for saying he was standing on platform 1, and then Richard Allen said he was standing on platform 1 too. Man, that sales pitch worked great. Jesus. Yeah, I've donated. From this channel, I've donated $168,000 to charity since January of 2020. So I'd like to be able to keep doing what we're doing there, and while also having an income for this channel. So, spent a lot of time out there getting some 360-degree footage, which I'll be uploading coming up pretty soon. Yeah, it's not even close. That's the thing. Yeah, so if let's say the channel brought in $10,000 in a month of revenue. I have to pay taxes, so I have to take out 28%. Then after that, we have state tax here. And after that, there'd be $7,200 left, and I usually donate over like 37, 36, 37, 4,000 or something. Yeah. So there you go. Be cool if everybody was doing that. Yeah, you watch these channels that are live on the scene, just everybody sending in super chats every 5 seconds, and I guarantee it, there's not a nickel being sent back out. All right. Well, thanks, Tamster. For your generosity there. That's crazy. About to start my 8-hour drive to take my 8-hour drive. Is that 4 there and 4 back, or what? Well, thank you. That was your 3rd super chat. I was hoping it would be more democratic, where other people would help support the channel as well. Yeah. Yeah. Bunch of Jesus. Tires all over the road there. Did you see that? If it wasn't for my amazing driving skills. So type in all the circumstantial pieces of information that you guys think are that point to Richard Allen. I mean, there's tons of stuff. I think that even like the photographs of his daughter that has a sort of a similar build to Libby on the bridge. Another picture of her wearing a tie-dye shirt on a bed. Really strange photo just in general. I mean, there's almost no meaning for the photograph. I mean, it's just very odd picture. You've got that he came up to a conservation officer. He called the tip line on himself to say he was there, and people act like, oh wow, what a great thing to do. It was such a great idea. He did it because he saw the picture of himself that was released to the public by law enforcement, which was a still frame from Libby's phone on the southeast end of the Monon High Bridge at around 2:13. But he didn't know where that image was taken. He didn't know how it was derived, or where it came from. So he calls up the tip line and wants to meet with somebody. So they send out the conservation officer, and he shows up, and the conservation officer asks him some questions, and Richard Allen tells him that he was there from 1:30 to 3:30, and in that interview said he talked to 3 girls. Or not talked to me, walked by 3 girls. He said that. He said one was taller. He kind of had a description and everything. And the conservation officer said, we need to figure out who those 3 girls are, instead of looking like you're looking at the guy that was there. Yeah, so you got that. He says he's there. And then years later, they bring him back in after they find the tip again. They bring him in for questioning on October 13th. And he says that he was there now from 12 to 1:30. Almost like he remembered exactly what he'd said the original time. He wanted to make sure he was prior to that. So that's why law enforcement doesn't bring that up again in the probable cause, because he already had said he was there between 1:30 and 3:30. So that doesn't even match what the defense is trying to say. Well, did he say he was there from... I mean, he said he was there from 12 to 1:30. So they're trying to make it sound like the prosecution or the conservation officer might have said, well, were you there at 2? Okay, he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. That doesn't even make sense for that, because it's outside and prior to it. Yeah. So he makes up that whole... he makes up that timeline, but then also describes, again, apparently, that he was wearing, like, light blue jeans, like light jeans, a dark blue Carhartt jacket, a like hoodie over his head, and a freaking like head covering, which looks, I think the head covering when he's playing pool is exactly the hat that he was wearing that day. I think that's the hat he was wearing. The pool hat, the brown hat that he was wearing when he was playing pool, was right underneath that. And so that's what he says he was wearing in the October 13th, 2023. And that was it, right? So now you have these different witnesses that place the sighting of that same person on the bridge. They'd already had all this. They just didn't know what the person's name was. Now they do. So think about it from law enforcement. For years, they've been trying to figure out who the person is that fit into this whole timeline. So basically, law enforcement has had that entire timeline for 3 years. For 5 years. They just didn't know who the individual was. And then, lo and behold, here's the person that was there, wearing exactly what that person was wearing. I think that's where you just go, boom, they got the guy. That's it. What do you guys think? And you don't even need Sue there. She was just sort of like ushering the story along to the edge of the bridge. And where was he? So he says he's there from 1:30 to 3:30, but not another soul saw him. And if he was there from 12 to 1:30, how come the 3 girls didn't see him prior, wandering around by the bridge? They were at the bridge at 12:43. So where was Richard Allen if he got there at 12 and left at 1:30? Where was he? See what I'm saying? The 3 girls are really important now. And they gain increasingly importance when you realize that the defense left them out intentionally, because they keep everything going. The 3 girls keep the timeline in working order. That he did get there at 1:30. Now the defense is trying to get rid of the part right at the bridge, so that means where Abby and Libby would pass them, and then also the muddy and bloody. So those are 2 things that the prosecution still has to work through. Hey, one of the apples. I'm gonna have to eat an apple. Yeah. So it might be loud. It'll have the real sound of an apple, though, not the crunchy sound. Hello. Gone 213 miles now. Why is that confusing to you? Thanks, CR. People just wanted to make it look like that. It's like arterial blood spatter that mildly looks like an F. Okay? That's what it is. Or if you turn it sideways, a giraffe, mutated giraffe with a short neck. Or a hyena. We just don't know. Well, everybody hit that like button. A cell tower on the mountain over there. Looks like we got disconnected for a second. yeah, so if you're out there and you want to become a channel member, that also helps support the channel on a monthly basis and is part of the donations too at the end of the month that I make to various charities out there. Look at that, it's 220 named in state and 20. Oh, and I looked down and we've gone 216 miles. Wouldn't that have been weird? Just like the TV show. That wasn't the one with Depp in it, was it? I can't remember the name of it. No, that was something different. Yeah. That was something else. Well, road tripping, there's a lot more crime that happens like east of the center line of the United States. I can tell you that. But I would be into it if it was, things that are within 800 miles or something like that. I'd do that. So what do you guys think about just kind of what I laid out just a minute ago for Richard Allen? I know it's just this tight thing, and there isn't all this other stuff about his life that we have. But wouldn't you think that law enforcement probably has a lot of other items to be discussing that they have, that they found? Like, for example, the real... See, they're not lying when they say they went back through their records and found Richard Allen. They're not lying about that. But why did they look at that particular time and find Richard Allen? They're leaving that part out of the story. Like, what was the reason that right then they went back to look for that? And so I think that right there might be where there's other information. Now, here's the thing, you guys. If the defense has that information, they're sure as hell not going to put that in this memorandum. The memorandum's sole goal is to get rid of the search warrant and all the fruit that search warrant bore. So they're not going to put in the other horrible information. And you know what we've already left out, you guys? The confession, for God's sakes. His defense team even said, yeah, it sure does look like he made a confession. By the way, we're going to try to make him look as crazy as possible tomorrow, replete with a shirt with spaghetti stains all over the front of it, to make him look as crazy as possible, therefore, casting doubt on the confession that he made. Okay, so let's get working on that. We just need to get a bib and some extra drool. Now, probably suck on this lemon for a little bit, have a little bit of drool coming out of the side of your mouth, and you're going to look batshit crazy at that point. Yeah. Richard Allen's the guy, everybody, on the documentary. So I was in a documentary. That was the sort of like, okay, the main... I've wanted to get to Delphi for a long time, so I had two main goals, but this was sort of like, okay, now I've got to go. And so, I was in a documentary, and it's a bunch of podcasters. And some of the questions were weird, like, how much money do you make? Where do you think it's okay for people to make money off of the cases? And I go, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's okay if people make money on cases, but I don't think it's okay to make money on cases when you're putting out sensationalistic bull crap, okay? That's where I draw the line. And if you're making money doing true crime the right way, it's true crime. People watch it, they support your channels. None of those same people who bitch about, oh, you're making money off of, people that died and so forth. Not one of them write letters to IDTV or Court TV or Law and Crime or any of these places. They just want to act like they are sort of morally superior, and they try to trash anybody on YouTube who's monetized. Okay, I've been doing this for 5 years with a live streaming element. YouTube for 10. Now there's every Tom, Dick, and Harry jumping on doing live streams. Okay, and whatever works for everybody. People like sensationalism, so that's probably why. I tell you what, if I switched over to sensationalism, I could make my channel grow so fast it would be crazy, because I could represent the sensationalistic garbage better than the people who are doing it currently. I could sell it, okay, but I'm not going to do that. All right, with the Odinites and the killings, it's just disgusting. We're kind of in a canyon here, so the cell coverage doesn't look great. I see a couple towers up there, though. Really cool in here, though. Can you guys still hear me, or? Yeah, so remember the Slow Joe wacko who talked about Becky pulling a blanket off of a bed, and it pulled a book off called Promise Not to Tell. Then she handed it to James Renner, and she goes, she just wanted to hand it to him. And it's like, well, she could have just grabbed it and handed it to him. Why is that, like, it's so stupid. Well, that's the same guy that in the movie Time to Kill, where Matthew McConaughey is doing his closing argument, and it's really emotional, he took the exact same words and the same everything and put in Abby and Libby's names in there, and even had the crying parts and everything like that, but he didn't tell people that's what he did. But when I heard him, I watched Time to Kill like 10 times, so I knew exactly what he was doing. So I called him out on it. He goes, oh, well, everybody knew. No, man. You tried to sell it, that you actually had that same emotion, and that was you talking, and you didn't think anybody would catch on, and you stole it all from a movie. And he's one of the guys with a footnote in the defense memorandum. I mean, how disgusting is that? Once you see that guy's name in the defense memorandum, the entire document should be null and void in your brain. You just look at it and go, oh, this is all garbage. That's how crappy of a person that guy is, all right? How dare you, Gray? I always liked that show. Yeah. Well, that means you're dumb. That's the honest to God truth. I don't know how any other way to look at it. Pretty cloudy out here. How does a guy that is an absolute monster, dumb as a box of rocks, put out some of the most disgusting, ridiculous stuff you've ever seen, get a footnote on a defense team? Well, I know how. Because the defense team is relying on all of the sensationalistic piles of crap on YouTube to build their little story here. And that's what I said from the second I read it. Didn't I tell you guys? The second I read it, wow, I know exactly who's behind all of this. Okay? Who's so obvious. Oh my God. Especially those 90 whatever points. So this man acting alone. Ah, God, give me a break. Gray Hughes acting alone, got up in the morning and sat at the side of his bed. So you're telling me this man acting alone stood up at the side of his bed? Are you telling me that this man acting alone then walked towards the bathroom? Are you telling me that this guy acting alone, Gray, then walked over the toilet? Are you telling me that this guy, Gray Hughes, then went to the bathroom by himself? Are you telling me that? That's almost impossible. Then are you telling me that this guy, Gray Hughes, then walked back to the bed and watched television for a few minutes? How could that be possible? Then this guy, Gray Hughes, gets up all by himself and walks to his computer and sits down. But let me backtrack one. He walked to his computer. Then Gray Hughes, acting all alone, sat down at his computer. Then Gray Hughes, acting alone, pushed in the chair to the computer. Then this guy, Gray Hughes, looks at his computer all alone. Then Gray, all alone, opens up his email. Then Gray Hughes reads the first email all alone yet again. That's how that thing read, you guys. It's so stupid. Every single part in there you could do by yourself. Every single bit of it. Jesus. Ridiculous, man. Tell me that's not how that thing read. Yep. Let's go to the bathroom again. Not that well. 150 miles on the tank left.
Just make sure we didn't miss.
80. Okay, we can go 82 here. All right, there we go. Yeah, I think that's exactly how that reads to me. Especially when I say that my wife, who weighs, 100 pounds, when she was a CNA, 100 pounds, and then 4 foot, whatever, I don't even know. She could lift 300-pound people and take off their clothing if needed to do various things. Okay, it's not impossible, everybody. Are you guys still there? I think I'm going to do a spoof on that memorandum. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The only parts in the memorandum that interest me is the witness stuff, okay? The rest of it is complete nonsensical garbage. Written by YouTubers, cut and paste right into the memorandum. Hey, would you do this section for me? Oh, I like it. I like it. Oh, yeah. Give me a break. Looks like we've gone, I think we've driven something like, I don't know, where are we at? 50 miles together anywhere. More than that, almost 100 probably. Yeah, because it's been an hour and 11 minutes and I'm going about 80 miles an hour, so. Oh, here we go. Now this is a flat earther's dream here. How slow that guy's going. Speed limit's 80. We're at 83. That seems legit, doesn't it? I mean, that's. But Gray, you're admitting that you're going over. Well, how the hell do you keep it exactly 80 every second? Okay, that's a good point. But yeah, but you just admit it. We're in Idaho somewhere. Don't know exactly where. God, off to the left is just flat as hell. Looks like the ocean. You look at that? Oh my God. That almost doesn't even look real. It's just, holy crap. It looks like there isn't, you can see a mountain way in the background. Wow. Now we've got 485 more to go. Flat earthers, Odinites, all the same. Odinistas, we'll call them. You know, Gray, I don't like it when you say Odinites. That's a stone. Odinista? Yeah, I saw True Crime Recliner sent me something kind of funny. You know, those odontologists probably are a little upset at this point. Don't you think? Yes, at the crime scene, we found some dental floss, toothpick. Yeah. Well, I'm not, I can't, septic's from over here. I think, like, doesn't Odon must be like, Don must be teeth or something like that. Like Mastodon. So you got, like, that must be the morphine in there. So odontologist, so that means in the, well, it's not spelled the same, but you could make the jokes out of it. I think it's O-D-I-N or something. You know, it was funny yesterday. We had this sports car come up behind us. You know, like, get out of my way type, you know. I'm going 84 and an 80. And he's like, get out of my way, instead of just going around me. So I let him by me, and then he just went, woo! I mean, he took off like a bat out of hell. And we were saying, Chris was like, oh, wow, watch this. Something's gonna happen with him. And then like 5 minutes later, a cop drove by us in a Suburban. God, he was going like 120. He's gonna go catch up to that guy, and he's gonna pull him over. And then like 10 minutes later, yep, there it is. We pulled that sucker over. That was amazing. That get going that fast. Can you guys like hear every bite of my apple? I'm just trying to get some of it. Feels better now. All right, that was the last bite that I still have to chew. It's a mukbang. Huh? For who? Yeah, those Honey Crisp are pretty good. Oh, there we go. Done with it. Yes, sir. Every juicy bite. All done. All done. I did warn you first, though. How dare you eat an apple? How rude. How many times I've heard that one, too? See, whenever I do that little whiny voice, it's because I've actually heard that before. Isn't that weird? Probably go to the next one. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll pull up and get gas and keep on going. Man, but if there's a 7-Eleven, I've got to get the Coke Slurpee. I've wanted one of those for the entire trip, and they just don't exist. There's one damn Slurpee, you guys. Oh, and a Starbucks? Oh, boy. Yeah, maybe we'll do it. We'll fill up the gas tank here. You have to use the bathroom? Or?
Half a mile, merge on I-84 West.
See, now it's already 4 something. It's crazy. Oh man, people waiting in line to get gas over here. Let me go this way. I always like that. You go to a movie theater, there's 2 lines. Everybody stands in one and the other one's open. You just walk right past everybody. You know, I always forget my tank's on the other side. Is this only? Oh, there you go. Huh? Yep, we're gonna have to go use the rest or whatever you're gonna do. Yeah, there's no Slurpees here. Yep, just getting the gas in there. Yeah, I've got the mic still on, yeah. That's a pretty good mic. Well, that was 11 gallons. Let's see where that goes. Not sure if I have this completely. Did they also, who plant what gun? They didn't, nothing was planted. What do you mean plant the gun? What are you talking about?
Turn right onto the I-84, US 26 ramp. Turn right onto the I-84 ramp. Quarter mile, merge onto I-84 west, US 20 west.
I mean, this road right here goes all the way into Portland. I mean, it's crazy. 475 miles, 462 miles on this road, right into downtown. That was almost like a NASCAR pit stop, man. Just ding, 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 out of there. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Now we're going 83 miles an hour. The speed limit's 80 right here. So. Yeah, that Brad Holder has some like ceremony stuff, like at a park with other like Odin followers, pagan ritual shit. Yeah, whatever people like, I guess. That's pretty hilarious, though. I'm glad that one detective came forward to say, no, none of us thought that that's what it was. That's just basically that's our report on it. That defense memorandum was complete sensationalism. Hey, you got little cameos on the show when you're walking by into the store. It's good. Yeah. Well, I don't know how much more I'm going to do this. We've been on for an hour and 29 minutes on this route here. You know, if you close your eyes when you're driving, first of all, it's not safe, but if you close your eyes for a minute, it's exactly the same feeling you get when you're flying. It's almost identical. And depending on how smooth the road is how smooth the flight is. Well, if you close your eyes, you just feel like, okay, there's a little wind there. I get a little turbulence. It feels exactly the same. It's weird. Yeah, so I don't recommend, just test it out when you're in the passenger seat. So what do you guys, you want to know anything about me or anything? Ask a question. Somebody ask me something. Just about me only. My education? Okay. My education is, I'm married, I'm married for, what do you mean? Must be new to the channel. My education, let's see. It's kind of long. I went to Western Oregon State College for a year because I sucked in high school. I just barely had enough to go to a lesser college. Then did well enough there, and then I transferred to University of Oregon. And when I was there, that's where my brother died when I was there, 1986. And I stayed there till like 88. And then I left and went to Oregon State University, where I continued on in the communications program. That's the program where all the athletes take, because it's easy for them to have somebody write papers for them. And then I actually have to do the work. But it wasn't until I was on basically the 6-year plan, ended up with 220 something credits. There's probably another minor in there somewhere, like if you mathematically put it in there. Had a whole bunch of different stuff, logic of argument. That was the one class that I took at University of Oregon, where I was in this guy's class. That was a very difficult teacher. It was the logic of argument. And I got a B in there. A lot of people dropped out of the damn thing, but the B was that was really good for that guy. That was incredible. So that was cool. Then I just sort of struggled for a couple of years at Oregon State, because after my brother died, I didn't care about anything. Then it was when I was about 23 or 4 years old, I go, this is actually pretty interesting. Then I started getting 3.6 and above, but all the years before weren't that great, so kind of my overall GPA wasn't that awesome. So then after college, I went to, didn't really have any skills that are marketable whatsoever, getting a communications degree, so worked at Nordstrom's. Was like a stock boy / salesperson for like a year or two. Then I think I got laid off of there, something like that. And then I started. Then it was a trucking broker company, and I was just hated that one. I think I got fired from that job. And then I was just kind of down and out. And my mom said, "Gray, you need a skill." So that's what college doesn't give you, a skill for anything. It's stupid. So you're unless you're in computer science or something directly that goes out there. Anything else, it's like what do you call it? Liberal arts, forget it, man. You have no shot at anything meaningful income whatsoever coming out of it. So anyways, we looked around and we found one of those schools that you can go to that where you can learn something. Like it was called Columbia College of Business. It was just at a shopping mall somewhere. Like a part of it was rented out, and we went there, and it was 8 hours a day for 6 months, learning how to use. It was called the Microcomputer Application Specialist Certificate. So then I learned how to use computers. I mean, I literally learned how to use, I think it was Lotus at the time, and various other programs. And the 10 key, I already knew how to type, but the 10 key, then you learn just other stuff like that, the fundamental stuff. Then I got a job at a bank as a collector. That was a crazy job. When I was collecting, I turned it into like the survey thing for myself on UFO crap. It was hilarious. I mean, that's when Art Bell was really big. Like this was 1993 or something. And I remember like sitting around saying, when I get a hold of somebody that works at an Air Force base or something, when I was collecting, I'd say, "Hey, so have you ever heard about like UFOs or whatever?" And there were some interesting things. Like one lady, her husband was a pilot. And I said, they were still in collections, and I said, "Well, has he ever told you he's seen any things when he's flying around?" And she said, "Well, I can't really answer that." And I go, "Come on, you know how I do it. Come on, just..." And she goes, "Well, he's told me things that you wouldn't believe, things like that, like here and there, these little comments." So I used to use it for that as well as being a collector, But while I was a collector, I was starting to write these programs to automatically do a whole bunch of different things that were taking people hours and hours to do. So then I just sort of automated a whole bunch of different things, and then they created a position at that bank for guess what? Guess how they wrote the position? It said, "Yes, be no Lotus." And a microcomputer application specialist certificate is a plus. Like the exact course that I took at that college. Like, what are the, so they wrote the job description really so that I could just get that job. But even though it was open to everybody, right? So anyways, I was in that one and did that for a few years, and then that bank sort of closed down. I think it was part of the original sort of financial crisis, even though it was 5 or 6 years before, but the same reasoning behind it. So then I went to, at that point, I thought, man, because I was doing on my own, I learned how to do animation with these different programs. A program called Poser and one called Raydream 3D Studio, and then my parents were like, "Hey, why don't they just wanted to do it for me, whatever. I got to go to the Art Institute in Portland for 2 years. It was a 4-year thing, but I was there for 2 years. and I already learned how to do all the 3D Studio Max, all these different things. And so, and I was on the dean's list at that school because now I'm doing something that I actually like. And that's kind of where I developed the skills that I can use for all the stuff that we're doing on here. Right? Like the animations, the model building, where I'm able to show people what I want to show them. And so that's where all of that came from. And I think it was back in 2000 and, let's see, 13 or 12 or 13, I was doing the Jodi Arias trial came out. I'd followed true crime before that, but that was the first time I jumped into the social media realm. So there was the Jodi Arias trial, and I would listen to people's arguments and stuff in the chat, and I go, that's just crap. And there was all these photographs released, tons and tons of photographs released of the entire bathroom and everything. So then I built an entire model. It took me months to do it. This really realistic model of the bathroom where the murder took place, even using tiles that had blood, images of tile with blood on it. And I put them into the scene exactly where they're supposed to be, everything, the shower door, the bathtub, the small little toilet area and everything, etc. And by the way, you guys, isn't this stuff super chat worthy here? I mean, we spent like another 45 minutes. Okay, we gotta get the numbers up this month. Struggling time. Anyways, so I did all the videos on that, and I would show people exactly where different images were taken. And based on all the stuff I was doing, it completely refuted the prosecution's theory that the gunshot the knife was first and that the gunshot was last. That's total bullshit. Okay, their theory, but it wasn't even their theory for 2.5 years, or a year and a half actually, until Jodi switched to self-defense. Then the prosecution changed it. And so that's why it doesn't even make any sense when you go over it. They just used a bunch of garbage. So anyways, we did that, and I did that for a long time, tons and tons of videos, and the work that I did on that led to somebody, hey, thanks, Mike S. and CR. Those guys, somebody saw the work that I did, contacted, there was a case they were working on, an elevator incident in New York. So I got a hold of a prosecutor, he got a hold of me actually, and it was actually the elevator expert is the guy that found me and got me in touch with the prosecutor. Then they hired me to make the entire, because there's a video of this lady getting onto an elevator and the doors shut, the elevator is moving while the doors are open, and then it shuts on her leg, and her leg almost gets ripped off completely as the elevator goes up. And it was an assault. I mean, it was a horrible case because this person was so reckless. It was like reckless disregard. Like the person who was working on the elevators didn't give a crap. So they hired me to do that. I built this whole model, and I filled in the blanks that you didn't see on the video because it was 1 frame a second. And I had a camera inside the elevator, outside, everything. And it was sweet. And they used it at trial. They even flew me there. I had to, have a suit and everything. And I was going to have to testify, but the judge and the defense and the prosecution, the defense agreed that it was accurate. So they didn't want to ask me any questions or anything. So while I went there, I didn't have to testify. And we won the case, and the guy got 2 years in prison because it was just so egregious. And amazingly, the lady lived because it was in a hospital. That's where this happened. Yeah. So there you go. So that was that case. And then they also hired me for another one where a guy fell off a roof. And I made the whole animation, but I think that one, I got paid for it, but it never even went to trial. Maybe it settled or something like that. I wouldn't call that luck. Yeah. And then I think after that, after the Jody Arias case, that's when McStay case became pretty big, and that one was awesome. The McStay case is a case where, when I say awesome, I mean it's horrific what happened, but like the work on it that we did, like Ada is one of the moderators in here. She and I basically her and I, there were some other people on the sides, but we came up with all these amazing things to look at, you know, especially where they found the bodies. So that's when we got involved. I'd heard of the case before that, but when they found the bodies, that's when it became really interesting, because, you know, you have these pictures in the news that would show right there at the scene, these large ruts in the ground, and I shot of the bushes. There wasn't a wide enough shot to get the exact spot, so I had to look for patterns in the bushes on Google Earth to find the precise location. All right, speed trap ahead. Hold on a second. I had to find the precise locations using just sort of the design of the bushes on the ground. And eventually I found the exact spot. In doing that, you could see that the ruts in the ground were actually there before the murder. I mean, not before the murders, before the bodies were found. Okay, that's crazy. So that means that it had to have rained that night, because you know when you make tire tracks in mud, and after it dries, they'll stay there for years, all right? And there's two sets of tracks that led to both of them. So we figured out, okay, we went and found satellite imagery from prior, and it didn't exist, and we found, so what was crazy is the tire tracks were there prior to the bodies being found, and they appear, I think even in a 2010 image that we had, but they don't show up prior to that. So it shows that those tracks remain leading to both graves since that time, and the only way to do that would have been if it rained, right? So we sent that information into law enforcement, and they said we were able to verify your information. And then at trial, that exact stuff was in there. On the 6th, and we found out that it rained on the 6th of February in the area. I think it was even like, I can't remember if it was Super Bowl Sunday or what the hell that was, but that was a pretty neat moment that they actually took the time to email back to say, hey, we verified that. That means they used it. They wouldn't need to, they wouldn't have said they verified anything. So that's really, I think that was like a really cool sleuth moment, you know. So there's that case. I don't know. Just tons and tons. We've covered thousands of cases on my channel, not just the Delphi case. But Delphi is really huge right now because of this memorandum, and then there's going to be a rebuttal, of course, you know. Right? Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, Ada was good. She went out and found some of these just not really, you could tell good enough satellite images where you could see where the ruts were there. And there was also a discoloration of the dirt right where both graves were. And she always thought it was Chase Merritt. She kind of convinced me of that later in time. But there was two or three other people that were absolutely could easily have done something. But he did make the most sense. What's the OMG? What happened? Yeah. Yeah, so Chase Merritt, basically what it was in that case was he worked for Joseph McStay. He was basically like a contractor, builder of water features, like a fountain. And Joseph McStay had a website called something like Quality Something Product. I can't even remember now, but where, a guy named, he had this young guy working for him, and he seemed like he could have been a suspect at one point. But anyways, Joseph McStay employed Chase Merritt, and he often would come up with schemes, use inferior products and so forth to sort of cut off the price and to keep the money because he liked to gamble. So he would always be swindling Joseph out of money, and I think Summer, his wife, Joseph's wife, realized that he was doing that. So Chase Merritt hated Summer McStay. So it all kind of came down to a head when there was this money missing, and then Joseph fired him. And then I think later that night he drove all the way over to Joseph's house, and I don't know how he got inside the house, but he came in there and he basically bludgeoned to death two small kids. I think it was Gianni and Joseph Jr. And then Joseph McStay and his wife Summer were all bludgeoned to death with a miniature sledgehammer. Just absolutely bludgeoned them all to death. And then he must have loaded them up in his vehicle and taken them to out in the desert and buried them. And it was funny because when CNN interviewed him after the bodies were found, he says, "I guarantee you he said something, I definitely was the last person who saw Joseph McStay alive." And what a dumb comment to make. There was some interesting stuff, like a surveillance camera that picked up part of the vehicle. Horrible case. Hit that like button, everybody. Hit that like button. Right now we have 442 more miles to go, which is equivalent to 6 hours. I think we just lost connection for a second there. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could be that evil like that. But who kills a 13 and a 14-year-old for no reason? Any other questions you guys got? Wow, 2 hours on one phone in a car. Yeah, Claudia Neubauer was our on-scene reporter for the Fotis Doulos case. He killed himself before anything, but apparently his girlfriend, I think her name was like Draconis or something, she has a trial coming up here. Definitely have to cover that one, because we covered that one from start to finish. We went over the probable cause in that one with the same, just scrutinizing it from start to finish, and he's absolutely was guilty of murdering his wife. Okay, and I think she definitely was. I don't know if she was. It's hard to know for certain if she was 100% like part of planning the murders of Jennifer, but maybe, it seems like she was, because she was in the vehicle with him driving around. So I think her trial is coming right up. So that should be a good one. And by the way, if you're innocent, and I don't think you would have went and killed yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it was just so much pressure. That bull crap, man. You haven't even gotten to trial yet. If you were innocent, you'd go to trial to see if you're innocent, And then if you're so committed, you might have killed yourself later. But you would wait for your trial to be over unless you knew you were guilty anyways. Yeah. Basically, I believe killing yourself before a trial is admitting you did it. 99.9999999% of the time. You might get 1 in a million where somebody doesn't do that. But if you're innocent, you're going to want your day in court to try to prove your innocence. But great. And I think it's that for a lot of things. You know, you've got a suspect in a murder and they get identified or something. You know, I don't know. Just right before they're arrested, they do the same thing. It's the same thing. Like there's a knock on the door. Open up, and you see it's cops. Boom. Okay, well, you knew it was, you did it, so you didn't want to face the music. A little bit like Brian Laundrie, right? I mean, took off. He knew probably felt horrible for what he did. He knew that life wasn't going to go well at all, so he shot himself. I always think it's funny when people say that people who kill themselves are cowards. It seems like there's a lot of, it would take a lot of guts to actually do that. I mean, maybe they're cowards for not wanting to face the music, that part of it, but the physical, you know, I think we're near an airport or something. Not even sure what is this. Oh, this is Boise. Yeah. Man, we're all the way to Boise already. Have you been chatting with? We tried talking to him once. The dogs, right? We tried talking to the dogs once, right? Yeah. Well, any other questions? I think I'm going to end the live after 2 hours and 4 minutes and some odd seconds. Yeah. Oh, boys. Hey, thank you, Cindy Leon. I can't believe you caught a live moment. You're only on the replay crew or something. I got to get back to when you're on the live stream. So I guess the only experience I really have in enforcement or whatever would just be the animations that I've made. I'm not even sure what you call that, like more like a graphic representation. And that's what Robert Ives was saying. Like when I saw him, he goes, "Yeah, I think it'd have been cool because most people, they understand things better if you can graphically show them in a simple way." Instead of just saying, "Yeah, I was over here and over there." So that's why he was going to hire me at one point if they'd made an arrest early. That would have been a cool moment. That sucks, Cindy. Jeez. Freeze-dried starburst. Never heard of those. I'll get the hell out of this town. I like being out in the open. Did you watch American Justice and all of the detective shows before? Yeah, I used to watch American Justice all the time. I watched Bill Curtis. I think he did American Justice. Yeah, Bill Curtis and Forensic Files. Remember those? Those are still good. Yeah, IDTV. I like watching Joe Kenda. He was pretty good. I kind of feel like a kinship with Joe Kenda. Like I feel like I'm similar to him, like the way he thinks and talks, you know. You know what's crazy is when we were listening to the Evil Has a Name by Paul Holes. I could literally finish sentences 6 times, just about topics that he was talking about. I would just go and right, you were right there. Yeah. It was pretty funny. Well, you guys, I think that is going to do it, all right? So thanks to everybody who helped support the channel financially today, and everybody hit the like buttons, and for everybody showing up, all right? Hope you guys thought that was, it was actually kind of fun just driving and talking to you guys. Felt a little more normal-ish. You know, I kind of feel lost a little bit when, you know, I'm not doing my shows at night, people showing up, you know, it's been kind of weird. No problem, True Crime Recliner. Thank you. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here. We'll see you later. And, as I always say, till next time, be safe out there. Want to say goodbye to the freaks?
Bye, freaks.
Hey, my wife said, bye, freaks. All right. Well, anyways, be safe out there. Somebody said, she talked to us. She said stuff to you guys many times.